Journey to the Western Vernacular, Chapter 19, Avalokitesvara presents Fish Basket in Tangshan River. Time flies so fast, and it's autumn before I know it. One evening, they came to a large white river. On the stone tablet by the river were engraved 3 big characters Tangshan River and 2 lines of small characters below, which meant that the river was 800 miles wide and few people could cross it. Since they couldn't cross the river for a while, they decided to find a place to stay and figure out a solution tomorrow. They followed the sound of gongs and drums in the distance, and came to a village. When they saw a fasting flag hanging in front of a house, they wanted to stay there for a night. When Chen King, the owner of the village, saw Wukong, Baji and Sha Sang, he was so frightened that he shouted, "The monster is coming! The monster is coming!" Tang Monk hurriedly said, "Don't be afraid, they are my disciples. Although they are ugly, they are all beautiful. He is an expert at catching monsters." Entering the living room and meeting Chen King's brother, Chen Cheng, Tang Monk asked them why they were fasting. The Chen brothers cried and told Monk Tang that there was an inspiration temple by the Tangshan River. There was an inspiration king in the temple, who ate a pair of boys and girls every year. If you don't offer it, there will be a flood and the place will be flooded. This year it is the turn of the Chen brothers to offer boys and girls. Wukong asked Chen King to bring out his 8-year-old son Chen Guanbao, who also transformed into Chen Guanbao. Even the Chen brothers couldn't tell the difference between the real and the fake. Then Wukong asked Chen Cheng to call his 11-year-old daughter out and force Baji to turn into a little girl. Baji had no choice but to change, but as a result, his belly was fat and big, unlike a girl. Wukong blew a breath of fairy air, which made Baji's belly shrink. Wukong said, "My 2 brothers went to the inspiration temple for them. What do you think?" The Chen brothers quickly knelt down to thank them for their great kindness. Then someone took out 2 big plates and found 4 young men to carry Wukong and Baji to the inspiration temple. The Chen brothers laid out the offerings, burned the paper and went back. After a while, a strong wind blew, and a monster jumped out of it, reaching out to catch Baji. Baji got anxious, jumped off the altar table, revealed his true colors, picked up a rake and started beating him. Hearing the sound of a few fish scales the size of ice plates fell off, and the monster turned around and jumped into the air. Wukong also revealed his true form, and chased after him with Baji on the clouds. When the monster heard that his opponent was Sun Wukong, he hurriedly turned into a gust of wind and got into the Tangshan River. Wukong guessed that it was a monster in the river, so he and Baji returned to Chenjiazuing in the clouds and told Tang Monk and the 2 elders of the Chen family about defeating the monster. Everyone was very happy. The monster fled back to the underwater palace, dejected. He wanted to eat Tang Monk's flesh, but he was afraid of Sun Wukong. A Mandarin woman in spotted clothes came up with an idea. "Your Majesty has the ability to summon the wind and rain, and to make snow and ice. Tonight, the whole Tangshan River can be frozen, and then..." The Mandarin woman whispered in the monster's ear for a while, and she said so. The monster is elated. The monster cast a spell that night and froze the entire Tangshan River. After Tang Monk heard about it, he and his disciples came to the river and saw many people walking on the ice to do business in the Western Liang Women's Kingdom. Baji raised his rake and hit the river hard, leaving only 9 white marks. He turned to his master and said, "It seems that even the bottom of the river is frozen." Tang Monk was anxious to learn the scriptures and hurried back to Chenjiazuing to pack his things. The Chen brothers quickly prepared dry food for them and wrapped the horses' hooves with straw to prevent them from slipping. The 4 masters and disciples of Tang Sang did not cross the river from morning until dusk. Seeing that the opportunity had come, the monster chanted a spell. Suddenly, all the ice on the water melted, and Tang Monk, Baji, Sha Monk and the white dragon horse all fell into the water. Wukong was quick and jumped into the sky in a hurry. Baji and Sha Sang both knew how to swim. The monster did not dare to touch them, so they caught Tang Sang and took him to the water palace. Baji and Sha Sang picked up their luggage, held the white horse, recited the water-avoiding spell and jumped out of the water to meet Wukong. Wukong guessed that his master had been captured by the King of Inspiration, so he discussed with his 2 junior brothers to go into the water to eliminate the demon. Sha Sang suggested that the 3 of them go together, willing to carry Wukong into the water on his back. Baji is usually teased by Wukong, but at this time he also offered to carry Wukong's back. It turns out that Baji also wants to play a trick on Wukong. Unexpectedly, Wukong was already prepared. He pulled out a piece of hair and turned into a fake body lying on Baji's back. He turned into a bed bug and bit Baji's ear. Baji deliberately fell down and took the opportunity to let go of Wukong. The fake body was made of a hair, floated up, and immediately disappeared without a trace. When Sha Seng saw that his senior brother was missing, he kept complaining about Baji. Wukong thought it was funny, and shouted loudly in Baji's ears, "Idiot, I'm here." Baji was so frightened that he knelt down at the bottom of the river and kowtowed to beg for mercy. Wukong then returned to his original state, still lying on Baji's back, letting Baji carry him forward together. They came to the monster's residence and found that there was no water outside the door. So Wukong turned into a long-legged shrimp spirit woman and jumped in the door. He saw the monster and the spotted mandarin fish woman were discussing how to eat Tang Monk's meat. He couldn't find his master, so he came to the harem and found Tang Monk in a cave, so he stepped forward to comfort his master. Wukong came out from the original road and saw Baji and Sha Seng. He asked them to lead the monster out of the water, and he waited on the water. According to the plan, Baji and Sha Seng went to the cave door and shouted, attracting the monsters and started fighting. Unexpectedly, the monster's pair of copper hammers were very powerful. The three of them fought for 2 hours, but there was still no winner. Baji and Sha Seng pretended to be defeated, escaped from the water, and shouted at Wukong, "Coming, coming." After a while, the monster chased out, and Wukong raised the golden cudgel and hit them head-on. The monster dodged and raised his hammers to fight back. Before 3 rounds of fighting, the monster couldn't resist anymore and sank to the bottom of the water in one breath. The monster returned to the cave, afraid that Wukong would knock on the door, so he asked the little monster to close the door and block it with stones and mud. As expected, Baji and Sha Seng came to the cave again. Baji opened his mouth and cursed, but the monster didn't come out for a long time. He just raked the door and broke it open, but there were stones and mud inside, so he couldn't get in at all. Baji and Sha Seng had no choice but to return to the shore and tell Sun Wukong. Wukong was afraid that his master would be eaten by monsters, so he quickly flew to Luoya Mountain on a cloud and flew directly to Putwa Rock. The good fortune dragon girl told Wukong that Guanyin had entered the purple bamboo forest alone. She knew he was coming and asked him to wait here. When Wukong was waiting impatiently, Guanyin walked out of the bamboo forest with a purple bamboo basket in his hand. Guanyin asked Wukong to lead the way, and soon they arrived at Tongshan River. Guanyin took off his belt, tied the bamboo basket, put it into the river, and chanted a mantra. After a while, I lifted the bamboo basket and saw a shining, lively goldfish in the bamboo basket. It turns out that this monster is a goldfish raised in the Guanyin Lotus Pond. It sneaks here when the sea tide is high, causing trouble and harming the people. After Guanyin returned to the South China Sea with the bamboo basket, Baji and Sha Seng entered the water again. They saw that all the fish, spirits, and water monsters in the water were dead. They found the harem, opened the cave, and emerged from the water with Tang Seng on their backs. The people in Chenjiazuing are very grateful to them. Wukong was asking them to prepare the boat when an old turtle emerged from the river and said, "To thank the great sage for driving away the monsters, I will send you master and disciples across the river." It turned out that the water cave was the old turtle's past residence. It was occupied by goblins years ago. Wukong was naturally very happy and quickly asked master and others to step on the turtle's back. Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.